Hello, everyone, and welcome to Spirited Discussion, a Spirit Island podcast. Today is our second instance of Power Card Bingo.
B-I-N-G-O.
I'm not going to sing the song this time. I think that was enough last time.
If you want to play along at home, you can probably make your own bingo boards based upon powers and see if we hit them.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, but yeah.
We're going to go through minor powers again for about half the episode, and then we're going to talk about major powers, and we'll see how many we get through, and hope you enjoy this and see what you feel, if you can learn something new.
Yeah. And if you are a little confused, check out our YouTube video, which should have all of the pictures up in the video, and if it doesn't, then one of us will edit this part out. Yes. All right. So, Kalen, would you like to tell us the first minor power we're talking about today?
First minor power today is Call to Trade. Call to Trade is a minor power from the Branch and Claw expansion, if I'm not mistaken. Costs 1, fast power, range of 2, targets a land with Dahan. You may gather 1 Dahan. If the terror level is 2 or lower, gather a town, and the first ravage in target land this turn becomes a build there instead. This power has 4 elements. It has air, water, earth, and plant.
Okay.
Got any thoughts on this one, Alex?
I mean, it's an interesting card, I guess.
I think this is actually one of the more busted minors in the deck.
Ooh, do tell.
Yeah, so this is one of the minor powers that lets you basically skip a ravage at the cost of adding a build, but skipping a ravage is potentially huge, and it also gathers a town, which could potentially mean it's skipping 2 ravages, and that is kind of a lot for just a 1-cost power. I feel like this power does a lot, punches way above its weight.
Yeah, I'd say probably the big downside is you have to target a land with Dahan already in it.
Yeah, but I mean, sometimes you have that, and you were going to set up for a defend anyway, and you're like, oh, I didn't pull a defend power, but I pulled Call to Trade, so I can just skip the Ravage entirely instead.
It's definitely a big brain card, and yeah, if you can combo this with a nice disease or something, that would be pretty fantastic.
Absolutely, yeah. I do like the elements for it, too, are really nice for Ocean, of all things. I think I've heard some talk that this card would have totally different elements if they were to re-release it today.
Huh.
But, like, Ocean's Hungry Grasp loves this as, like, a range 2 Ravage skip.
Yeah.
So you can target an inland land with it, and it has water and earth and air for some reason. And so it's just all kinds of wild for Ocean.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, I'm getting a little more sold on this as you're talking. It's one of those cards I have not played a ton with because it is a big brain card. It is a card that, like, you want it in certain situations, and if you can set up the board in such a way that you can skip the build as well, or that, yeah, building instead of ravaging is a big deal, that's great. But I think it's one of those cards you look at it as a glance and you're like, oh, why would I want this? It's going to add a city. But you're absolutely right that in situations that can be really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm always happy to see it.
I'm going to put it in sometimes. It might grow on me. We'll see. I need more experience with it.
Yeah, I give it another try or two, and, you know, if it doesn't, that's also fine, so.
Okay, sounds good. Next card, we have Mesmerized Tranquility. This is a 0-cost card that says isolate target land. Each invader does -1 damage. It's fast, at range 0, can target any land, and it has water, earth, beast, and it is from Jagged Earth.
Yeah, this is a cool one. This is another nice Ocean card in some ways with the water and earth elements, but not so nice of an Ocean card in some ways because at other range 0 power.
Yeah.
That you already have lots of that with Ocean. This is kind of like a defend card with each invader does -1 damage, but it's not like actually a defend card. And so it just has all these really interesting effects going on in it, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to tip my hat a little bit and just say that I am not the biggest fan of Isolate. I just feel that it can be kind of fiddly. You don't always know where they're going to explore. There's times when it just kind of whiffs, like doesn't matter, despite your best efforts. But I do have to say, having each invader do -1 damage a lot of times is like what you need. If you have a little bit of defense, that's what you need to kind of push it so it doesn't like So I do pick up this card every so often.
I will say that I think your isolate comment probably suggests you haven't played enough Habsburg Livestock Colony or enough England.
Potentially, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the isolate for me is so much more about not maybe like stopping one land from exploring as it is, oh, this land is going to ravage and has like 3 buildings in it. If I isolate it, I'm not going to adjacency build for England, and also the ravage will be much easier to handle or just not a problem at all.
But I mean, that's still only 2 adversaries in the game.
I mean, yeah, but I guess I play too much England. So.
I mean, England's it's a solid adversary for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I put this in sometimes that, like I said, I there are plenty of times where, yeah, your defend card just doesn't do enough on its own, and you need a little bit of help with this card. So I'm happy to see it sometimes. It's free. It's a free card, so that's nice.
Yeah. I like it a lot, but it is probably still also sometimes for me. I just, as much as I like it, it's not like game-breakingly good.
It is also fun if you use this in a land with like 8 explorers and nothing else.
As long as you're not playing Russia, right?
Yeah, fair. Okay, next card.
Yeah, next card is Rites of the Land's Rejection. Ooh. Rites of the Land's Rejection is a 1-cost power. It is fast, range 2 from a sacred site, targets the land with Dahan. We've had a couple of those now. Invader, you get a choice of 2 effects. You can push up to 3 Dahan, or invaders do not build in target land this turn. 1 fear per town or city, or 1 fear per Dahan, whichever is less. Provides moon, fire, and earth elements, so, fun for shadows.
Yep.
Except that it's a 1-cost power, and so that's less fun for shadows, but, But it's definitely an interesting card. I think this one, we just talked about a Ravage skip in the last 2 powers ago with Call to Trade. If you can combo with that with this, the build skip, suddenly you're like, oh, this land is going to be just doing nothing now.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't normally want to like use those both on the same land unless, I don't know, the land was going to be building, ravaging, and like high immigration building for England or something like that. But it still could be, it's still a very powerful power.
Yeah.
Just being able to skip builds is amazing.
I feel like the ceiling on this card is pretty high. If you have a lot of Dahan and town/city in the land, you could end up getting quite a few fear out of this, as well as making
that's
them
true
not
too.
build.
Yeah.
Yeah. The ceiling's high, and then I feel like the floor, like okay, if you use this just to push Dahan to set something else up, that's not really that bad. Having a range of 2 from a sacred site, I mean, it's gotta be a sacred site, but a range of 2 to push up to 3 Dahan, yeah, it's not horrible.
Yeah, and it's fast too, which is a lot of Dahan movement powers are slow. And so just being able to pull this one sometimes and be like, oh, that Ravage that I was thinking about defending that I didn't have any Dahan in, suddenly I get to put Dahan in there, and then everything's going to clear, and it's amazing.
Yeah. Were you thinking of putting this always or sometimes or rarely?
This is definitely always for me. I'm always happy to see Rites of the Land's Rejection.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think always is good. Like I said, having that push up to 3 at the worst case scenario, right? If for whatever reason you don't want to do that top effect, that's not bad at all, even if you're not a Dahan heavy spirit.
Yeah, high floor, high ceiling. Like it, I'm not always going to take it, but it is always a nice card to see.
Yep, makes sense. Okay, the next card is. Uh-oh. You better hide your picnic basket because we have some devouring ants.
Oh no, devouring ants.
Yep. 1 fear, 1 damage, boy. Destroy 1 Dahan. If target land is a jungle or sands, 1 damage. It costs 1, it's slow, and it has a range of 1 from a sacred site. But hey, it could target any land. It gives you sun, earth, and animal.
Yeah, this is an interesting card. It's a lot of damage powers, I feel like, are a little overcosted early on in the game. And this is a base game power, I believe.
Correct. Yeah.
And this one, I mean, the fact that it says destroy 1 Dahan has always pushed me away from it. Like, I'm more comfortable with powers that add blight to the island than powers that destroy Dahan. But you're often going to have lands that don't have Dahan in them. And so this can actually still do quite a bit of stuff. Like 2 damage and a fear for 1 energy is nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah. You do have to have a sacred site, but that's not that bad.
Yeah, but I mean, compare this to like Shatter Homesteads, Lightning's Unique, where it's 2 energy for 1 fear, destroy a town. And it's a slow power, needs a sacred site. It has range 2 instead of range 1, but, and this has the terrain restrictions with jungles and sands. But even so, I feel like it's very comparable.
Yeah, I mean, ganking a town in a jungle or sands is not bad for a minor power. So, yeah. I like it.
Yeah, this one also can be kind of nice because damage you can sort of like scale up with multiple damaging powers or with Badlands to actually take out cities with this card, which if you're taking out a city with a 1-cost minor or partially with a 1-cost minor, that's usually pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty bonkers. So, yeah, I think I'd put this in the sometimes, though, just because there isn't always stuff in my jungles or sands that I really want to super kill, or maybe the Dahan are spread out in a way that I just don't think this would be that useful, or range of 1 from a sacred site can be tough for some spirits to get. So I think true, sometimes for me.
I honestly put it in rarely, and I think that's more of just my bias because of the Destroy 1 Dahan line on it. And I think this is one of those cards that I should actually try taking more often than I do. Okay. And I just haven't played with it enough.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So maybe I should put it up to sometimes so that I actually take it.
No, stick with your guns. Put it in rarely.
All right, it's rarely. It's rarely.
Right. Cool.
All right. Our next power is Like Calls to Like. Like Calls to Like is from Jagged Earth. It's a 1-cost power. If target land has explorers, gather up to 1 explorer. Do likewise for towns, Dahan, Blight, and beasts. It's slow, range 1, targets any land, and it has sun, water, and plant elements.
Hey, Kalen.
What's up?
I like this card.
Ooh, tell me more. I don't like this card, so I'm curious to hear what you like about it.
I was making a pun.
Well.
But I do like this card. I don't know. Anything that can kind of get a lot of mobility going. I mean, it basically is a pull a bunch of stuff into one land and set yourself up for a nice bomb of a major to just kind of come in and wreck a bunch of stuff. That's what I like about it.
Yeah, I hear that. I feel like if it was gather an explorer, gather a town, gather a Dahan, gather a Blight, gather a beast, it would be so much better.
Yeah.
And probably cost more. Because I mean, like thinking about like Lure of the Unknown has a unique that does something like that, except it's costs 2 and it's ridiculously powerful. But I feel like this version of the card is just not as interesting. Some of it is that it's slow, and so you have to sort of use it more reactively. You can't always gather a town out of a land that you want to gather if there's no adjacent towns. I don't know. This is a rarely card for me, rarely happy to see, just because there isn't that much that it does that I don't feel like other powers can do better.
I find this interesting because I feel like this is the Golds of Lore thing again, right? Where there are times where like there's not really a great target for this card, but I mean you could prevent 2 builds from happening.
That's true.
You could prevent a city and a town from going down somewhere. Now, obviously, it depends on the land placement on the board, but that could happen. Moving the Blight around sometimes can be a big deal in terms of not letting you get stuck in the corners with the Blight and cascade. Now, I will say, gathering up beasts is not great. If you're not playing with like a beast spirit, right? Because a lot of those cards are like each beast destroys an explorer or 2 explorers or whatever. And one of those beasts could have cleared that land of explorers without the extra help. Like sometimes you probably want the beasts more spread usually. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's an interesting planning card. I'm actually gonna put it in always.
Really? Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm intrigued, and maybe I should give it another shot. We'll see what people think on the comments as to whether I'm just out to lunch again.
I mean, who knows? I'm definitely no expert, so yeah. All right,
what's our next power, Alex?
We have Infested Aquifers. If target land has any disease, 1 damage to each invader, or if target land is a mountain or wetlands, 1 fear and add a disease. This costs 1. It's a slow power at range 0. It can target any land. It's from Branch and Claw, and it has moon, water, earth, and beast or animal.
This is another interesting one for elements with ocean. We're getting a lot of good like water earth miners today for some reason. It's not like the best power on Ocean because you usually can't use the effect too well, but it has great elements.
Kalen, the audience is going to think we only ever play Ocean.
I mean, I only ever play Ocean. I don't know what you're talking about. Just Ocean.
I play Ocean and Wounded Waters Bleeding, so, big variety.
Oh, there you go.
Themes.
Yes.
No. But yes, you're absolutely right.
I think my favorite story of this card is definitely from I think it was a 25 player game on Play by Post on the Discord server, where they set up this card against Scotland to generate something over 700 fear with Bringer of Dreams and Nightmares. So basically the idea was this was all spirits that existed at the time game. Okay. So they just plugged 25 spirits onto a board. Or onto a set of boards.
Onto an island. You were correct the first time.
Yeah. An archipelago.
All
technically,
right.
But yes. All right. So they loaded up a bunch of towns and cities into one land with Finder of Paths Unseen. And then they got them all down to 1 health and kept them at 1 health with Shroud of Silent Mist. And then Bringer of Dreams and Nightmares drafted Infested Aquifers. They isolated the land so you didn't have to push the towns out, and then just repeated this like 8 times. And just got a fear victory off of that.
Huh. I don't love this card.
No, I don't actually love this card in most games, but I just love that story. Because, I imagine a bunch of Scottish people being terrified of how they're dreaming over and over again of the well getting poisoned. And so they leave the island.
They're poisoning the water hole. I just feel like it's too conditional, really. You have, on both sides of the ore, even though it gives you an option, you either have to have a land with disease on one side, or the land has to be mountain or wetland on the other side. And hey, placing down disease, that's great. I don't mind it. But like all that on top of it being slow at a range 0, it's just, I'm putting it rarely.
Yeah, this is also rarely for me. It's got weird, interesting use cases, but they just don't come up often enough that I really like it very much.
Yeah, and especially I think I could forgive the rest of the stuff if it was fast and it let me put down a disease at fast, but the fact that it's slow on top of everything else is like,
Yeah. All right. Our next power is Thriving Choke Fungus.
Great name.
Yeah. I would not want to interact with any Thriving Choke Fungus, which I'm pretty sure this power is going to give us good reasons why.
Yeah.
Thriving Choke Fungus is a Jagged Earth power. It adds a disease and a Badlands. 1 range from a sacred site, must target a jungle or wetland. It is slow and costs 1. And it provides moon, water, and plant elements. This is one of those powers that I think is really cool. I really like Badlands a lot. Like, I think it's my favorite token. And just being able to hammer a land with disease and Badlands is really nice for making a big problem land go away.
Yeah.
I feel like the spirit that likes this power the most is probably someone like Vengeance of the Burning Plague, but also it does not have great elements for that spirit, and so I don't really know that that's ideal. But I do like it a lot.
I mean, Lore loves this as well. Just getting to spam tokens, especially in a jungle.
Yeah, that's true. And then you can get that just destroy everything, or not destroy everything, but deal a bunch of damage based on tokens fast. Yeah.
I to be honest with you, I do love getting powers that are just spread some tokens around the board, especially if I'm playing a spirit that has a lot of card plays where you have an extra card play. Like, no, this card on its own it doesn't really do a whole lot, but it does kind of set up a lot of other things very nicely, and there's not like a ton of ways to get these things down at minor powers. So I actually really like this card. I think its biggest weakness is that on its own it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it's really cool when you can, combine it with something else, something that cares about disease or Badlands, or just a damage power of any kind. And it's really fun for that. Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's still sometimes happy to see for me. It's not quite always.
Yes. Me as well. There are definitely spirits and times where like having a Badlands down doesn't help you all that much. But yeah, good stuff still.
So next power.
Oh, this is an interesting one. Terror Turns to Madness. 0 cost. If the terror level is 1, you get 3 fear. If the terror level is 2, you get 2 fear, or you add a strife. If the terror level is 3, you add a strife. It's at a range of 2, and the land has to have invaders, although that should be obvious for, I guess, the 3rd stage. And it gives you moon, air, and water, and it is from Jagged Earth. And it's one of the only, if not the only, one of the minor or major powers that actually has, like, the fear, the terror level symbol in there. It's kind of... I always, like, double take when I look at this card, because I'm like, this looks weird. Like, there's something weird about it.
Yeah, I never really thought about that, but yeah, it is an unusual templating thing here.
It stands out as a graphic design element, for sure.
Yeah. This is a cool power. I mean, anything that does 3 fear for 0, I like.
Yeah.
And this one can also do, once you get to terror level 2, the fear generation is a little worse, but hey, strife is great. You can do lots of terrible things to France with it. You can do things to Sweden with it. It's just such a useful mechanic, so...
Yeah, I wouldn't mind more major or minor powers having this sort of, like, does different things depending on the terror level you're at. But, yeah, no, I'm kind of happy with all of this, really. A 0 cost to put down a strife is not bad. I wish it was faster, but whatever. And then, on top of that, 3 fear, if you're in terror level 1, that's almost a fear card if you're playing with 1 spirit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm happy to see it. Range of 2 means you can always target something. So... I kind of think I'm always happy to see this.
Okay. I think I'm only sometimes happy to see it, and I don't know that I have, like, a particularly good reason for that, other than I feel like it comes up in my drafts, and I'm like, oh, that would be cool, but I can't take it right now.
I mean, yeah, there definitely is times, I mean, especially at terror level 3, where, like, 1 strife maybe just doesn't do enough that you care at slow.
I don't know. It's definitely a card I'm sometimes happy to see, at least, so.
All right. Very cool.
Our next power is Domesticated Animals Go Berserk.
A lot of great names today.
Quite the name there. Yeah. This is the Angry Goat power. At least I think that's a goat.
Yeah. Ram.
A ram? Yeah, I suppose. One cost, range 0, fast, must target a land with buildings. It does 1 fear and defend 5. And if you have 3 moon, you get to add a beast token. It has moon, fire, and animal elements.
I love this card. I take this card all the time.
Yeah, this card is cool. I really like... I mean, I love the defend powers. I think they're all really pretty good. This one is not my favorite for some reason. I think probably because it's range 0 rather than range 1. I'd rather have, like, a defend 4 at range 1 than a defend 5 at range 0.
Okay, that's fair.
But like, this is still a really good card. It's gonna solve a lot of ravages. It solves Explorer plus Town plus City, which is in most cases anyway, which is pretty big. And I don't know. I love the Incidental Beast. Like, this is just a cool card.
I'm a fan usually of minor powers that have thresholds, just because it adds a nice little modality to it. And yeah, I feel like you're right, the range is a mitigating factor, but the target land having buildings is generally not. I mean, it's very rare that you need to defend 5 in a land, and it's just explorers. It can happen, depending on your adversary, but I feel like that's pretty rare. And I feel like I also play a lot of very mobile spirits. Like, I play a lot with Breath of Darkness, Emberide Behemoth, Thunder Speaker, Sharp Fangs. Like, these are all spirits that move around fairly easily, so that's not really that much of a mitigating factor to me. This is an always happy to see for me.
Yeah, I'm in the always category with it as well. I don't know that I take it all the time, but yeah, again, it is definitely always happy to see.
And shoutouts to, like,
it's a really nice option to have.
Shoutouts to Sweden, where you just need big defense to move the needle there. Next up, Blood Draws Predators. This is a fast power costing 1. After the next time invaders are destroyed in target land, add a beast, then 1 damage per beast, to a max of 3. It has a range of 1, can target any land, and it gives you sun, fire, water, and animal. And it is from Jagged Earth. I feel like we're getting a lot of Jagged Earth today.
Yeah. This is a really cool power. I like this one a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very cool to get beast effects that do something immediately. You know, I mean, granted, I guess you do have to kill something in the land. But it's not just a card that's just like, place a beast, and then you gotta wait for the event or something to happen. It's nice that this is you do have to combo it, but it still immediately can place down beast and then get some nice damage in.
Yeah, and like we talked a little bit about minor powers that can destroy a city. Mm-hmm. This is a minor power that can destroy a city. That's really cool.
Yeah.
It needs some build up to get there, or some other supporting powers, but like it's just really cool.
Yeah, for sure. This is just an always take for me. I also really gotta praise the theme of the card, the fact that it's like, you know, there's blood in the water and the animals are coming, right? They're not here yet, but as soon as something gets destroyed and then that blood comes in the water, they're gonna rush in and kill.
I really like this on a lot of spirits, I think, but like, you know, Fangs is an obvious choice where this is amazing. Yep. And, you know, River Surges and Sunlight, actually, it has really good elements for with the sun and water. And it gives you a little more direct damage, which you can use to like work with massive flooding and like ping off a city that was not going to die.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
There's some really cool interactions with it. I'm always happy to see this one.
Okay, yeah, always happy. All right, I think we got time for one more, Kalen.
All right. Our last one for now is going to be Tormenting Rotflies.
The names.
Yeah. The names in this game are just wonderful. Like, that is so much of what I enjoy about this game.
Totally.
All right. Tormenting Rotflies. Tormenting Rotflies is from Branch and Claw. It costs 1. Slow power, range 2, targets a sand or a wetland. Add a disease, or if target land has invaders, 2 fear. If disease is present, +1 fear. If blight is present, +1 fear. It has air, plant, and animal elements. We talked a little bit about with Infested Aquifers, the like weird conditionality on adding things. This one has some of the same weird conditions to it, but I like this one a lot more for some reason.
Yeah, I actually agree.
I think some of it is just that like the alternate mode of being able to just generate fear feels a lot better than the damage mode on Infested Aquifers, which relies on having disease, whereas for this one, disease is just an extra fear.
Yeah.
And I don't know, there's something nice about just, you know, the add 1 disease part isn't weirdly conditional. It's just locked into the card needing to target sands and wetlands.
Right, but with a range of 2, that's not a problem. Obviously, there's times when maybe putting a disease there is not optimal for you, but there will always be a place to put a disease down, or generally going to be a place where it's going to have invaders, so that's at least 2 fear. The fact that you can get up to 4 fear, which is enough fear for your player, that's great. Love that.
Yeah. I really like this card on Sharp Fangs Behind the Leaves, actually, because it has the plant and animal elements, which you need for your innate power, and also getting the disease down, or just getting a bunch of extra fear, can be really big for Fangs.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is an always or sometimes for me.
I think it still falls into sometimes happy for me, just because, I mean, it is a slow power, it's a disease add power, which isn't always going to hit because they might not be in the sands and wetlands.
Right.
But it comes up often enough that I'm definitely happy to see it sometimes. Okay.
Yeah, I think I put it in maybe the upper part of the sometimes category, just because, yeah, it is, hey, it's a card that's always applicable, which is always nice, that you're never going to whiff on this card. But there are situations where it's much less useful than other things. So, all right, there we go. There is the minor deck for this episode. We got through 11 cards.
Yeah, we're upping our pace a little bit.
All right.
I guess cool. We just had less to say.
Well, I feel like as we go a little bit along, people are starting to understand maybe our tastes in these cards, and we're starting to understand our tastes, so we can kind of use a little bit more of a shorthand. But
that's fair.
All right.
That's fair.
We're going to take a short break, and we will come back at you with some major powers.
And we are back. We're going to talk about major powers now, and we talked in the first Power Card Bingo a little bit about like major power theory a little bit more. Today, I don't think we're going to go into that quite as much. We're just going to sort of pick the powers, and if you haven't listened to that bit on the first episode, go check it out. I think we definitely had some differing opinions from each other on what on how majors work, which is good.
For sure. Okay, so starting us off strong with a card I just played today, Talons of Lightning. And also an
Ooh.
an easy one to talk about. So it is
Yeah.
6 whopping energy at fast, but it does 3 fear and 5 damage in range of 1, targeting a mountain or wetland, with the threshold of if you have 3 fire and 3 air, you destroy 1 town in each adjacent land, and you increase this power's range to 3. It gives you a fire and air, and it is from base game Spirit Island.
So you used it today. Tell me more.
Yeah, well, I played Keeper, and so he had the energy to do this. I think it's definitely an overcosted card, maybe by like just a little bit, because it's just hard. It's hard to get that, even with Keeper. I had the energy, but if I played this card, it's like, oh, dang, I'm only maybe playing some 0 costs, or one other 1 power card. So there is a little bit of a like you're losing out on the potential for other things with this card, but at the same time, 3 fear and 5 damage is that's a you can clear out a little bit in there, and then the extra. I hit the thresholds, which was very nice because the extra towns around that can do a lot. This card can generate a lot of fear for you.
That is true. Yeah. I don't know. Like some of what I like about this card is just that it is fast damage. Is if you're looking in the major deck, I talk about pulling Hail Marys from the major deck sometimes. This is the kind of thing I want to see in that situation usually, because it's fast, it deals a fairly large amount of damage, and it does have the land type restrictions on it, unfortunately, but it's still really cool.
Yeah.
I wish that I could take it on Lightning Swift Strike.
Yeah.
But usually Lightning can't manage 6 energy.
Kalen, you know what card helps this one out?
What card helps this one out?
Gold's Allure.
That's true. If I have Gold's Allure already, Talons of Lightning gets a lot better, and vice versa. That is very true.
Yeah. No, it's also interesting that a lot of the major powers that do damage, or that do like bigger damage in the game, are very like conditional. Like it's like, do a damage per beast you have, or for each thing energy you spend, do this much damage. Whereas this one, the only condition is the mountain and wetland, and of course the range. But other than that, that's it. It's 5 damage. It's just 5 damage. You don't have to hit any thresholds. You don't have to do anything else. Boom, 3 fear, 5 damage. And I do like that. There's definitely plenty of times where you're just happy to see that. You're happy that you don't have to work for it.
Yeah. I don't know. I like this card. It's probably still only sometimes or maybe even rarely happy to see. It's just when I am happy to see it, it's amazing.
You got to pick one. Can't be a fence sitter.
Sometimes. It's sometimes. Okay. Sometimes happy to see.
Okay. I'm going to put it in sometimes as well. Not every spirit can kind of get up to this energy level, but there are times where even if it's the only card you play that turn, this could be the card that wins you the game. Full stop. Especially if you're destroying towns and adjacent lands, if you hit that threshold, which is not hard to hit. It has a fire and air on it. You just need 2 more fire and 2 more air. So yeah, if I hit that with wilds, then it can't be too hard.
I will say there are some funny situations with this card where you want to target an empty land and the 5 damage is worthless, but you have the threshold, and so you're like, oh, I'm just gonna destroy 5 towns. Yeah. But the mountain that I need to target has nothing in it, so that feels kind of dumb.
Yeah, but that is true. It can affect lands that aren't mountains or wetlands. Even though you have to target that land, it's still cool that it has that. And yeah, if you're going for a fear victory, I mean, this card could be like 9 fear or something like that if you really get it right. So, all right, I'm putting it in sometimes.
Yeah, yes, I'm still sometimes, but yeah, it is cool.
Okay, all right, Kalen, what's next?
Our next power is Sleep and Never Waken. Oh, I wish sometimes that I could get a little more sleep. Anyway.
Hopefully you still like Wakening, though.
Yeah. No, I was... I recently, my wife and I had our second kid, and someone made a comment to me about, you drafted Wake and Never Sleepin'.
All right, come on, talk about Sleepy Indiana Jones.
Yeah, Sleepy Indiana Jones. It's got some weird art. 3 cost power, fast, 2 away from a sands. Can target any land. Invaders skip all actions in target land. 1 fear per 2 explorers this power removes. Remove up to 2 explorers. But then, if you have 3 moon, 2 air, and 2 animal, remove up to 6 explorers from among your lands. And this has 4 elements. It has moon, air, earth, and animal. This is a cool power. The skip all actions for 3 energy is a very powerful effect, I think.
Yes.
One of the things that, like, I wish Vital Strength of the Earth was a little stronger, but like a Year of Perfect Stillness is a good card. And it's just, yeah, skipping all actions can be huge. This also has this weird, like, anti-explorer effect, which I feel like isn't that relevant often, but occasionally is just huge. Like, if you're playing France or Russia and you have this power show up, suddenly the game is going to go into easy mode. Because it's also not destroy explorers, it is remove them. And so that gets around Russia's, like, surviving explorer really well.
Yeah.
And I don't know, this is just a really cool power. I don't know.
No, I agree with you. I think it's very solid. The fact that the main real restriction with the card is that you have to be in a sands. That's it. That's basically it. Obviously, you can threshold it, but as you said, the threshold is not really that important. You get to remove up to 2 explorers just on its own, even without the threshold, and I feel like that's gonna do it most of the time for explorers. So
I think but the threshold is from among your lands. So, like, you could theoretically hit a bunch of different lands with the threreshold.
Oh, all right. Yeah, reading comprehension's hard. Yeah, no, you're right. You are absolutely right. But I guess I'm just saying that even at a base level, skipping all actions is fantastic, especially when you end up in stage 3 of the invader deck, or you end up with, you know, weird situations where cards get doubled up, or there's extra actions because of certain adversaries.
England, yay!
yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm looking at this card and I'm like, man, if I ever reclaim 1 on my board and I can easily get the 3 energy, this is just a great card to play every turn. So I'm actually I'm gonna put it in always. I like it.
I think this is an always happy to see for me as well. I don't remember if I said it was Jagged Earth, so I don't have as much experience with it just because I haven't played nearly as much since, like, Jagged Earth got added to digital, and my digital plays far outweigh my non-digital plays. So, but every time I've taken this power, I think I've been happy to have it, and I've taken it well over expectation, I think.
I mean, yeah, skipping actions, getting fear, removing explorers, like, what more do you really need?
Yeah.
Okay. Next card is Forests of Living Obsidian. This is a 4-cost slow power. You add 1 Badlands, push all Dahan, 1 damage to each invader. If the origin land is your sacred site, 1+1 damage to every invader. And then if you have 2 sun, 3 fire, 3 earth, you get to repeat this power. It's a card from Jagged Earth. It gives you sun, fire, earth, and plant.
And I don't remember if you said it's slow and range 0, can target any land.
Yes, yeah.
All
right,
this
Mr.
is a
Badlands.
cool one.
Yeah, what do you think?
I like this one a lot. I mean, this can, like, if a land has any number of towns and explorers and 1 city, this power destroys everything in that land if you have a sacred site. And that's really cool just on its own. If you couple it with other powers, you know, you could be destroying multiple cities. If you already have Badlands in the land, you could be destroying multiple cities. And then it gets to repeat if you threshold it, which is always a really cool threshold to have. Yeah. So this is just like, I guess the one downside I see to it is some spirits struggle to get a sacred site in a land with a bunch of invaders.
Yeah.
But for spirits that can do that, or are able, or like really want to do that in some cases, like, I don't know, Stone's Unyielding Defiance loves this power. It's ridiculously good on Stone. And although everything's ridiculously good on Stone, so I don't know that that's really that telling.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is a really cool power. I feel like it still doesn't quite do I don't know. There's something I don't like about it. I think I just feel like it's...
I'm not crazy about this one.
No? Okay. Well, why aren't you crazy about it? Tell me more.
Oh, man. I'm not the biggest Badland guy. Okay. We differ in that.
Even when you get to push all the Dahan out?
No, I kind of want the Dahan to die, if I'm being honest.
Oh no.
No. My qualms with Badlands are not the Dahan generally. They're just, I don't know. I just feel like I have not really, maybe it's a me thing. Maybe I haven't utilized them fully. But yeah, I don't know. I definitely see situations where this card can be good, but you do kind of have to line it up a little bit. You have to be in that location in the first place because of the range 0, and then you have to have the sacred site to get the +1 damage. Clearing out the towns and then like possibly even a city with the Badlands like that sounds nice, but it's just, I don't know. I just feel like I don't hit this card, and for 4 at slow, I don't know.
Yeah. I will say playing this on Volcano Looming High is absolutely amazing. If you've never had that experience, I would give it a try, or play some Volcano games, and if it comes up, give it a try. It's a really cool power there.
Okay.
But yeah, I think this is still an always happy to see for me. It might be at the lower end of that category, but like it can do so much. It has such a high ceiling for me that I like it a lot.
It definitely does. Sometimes repeating the power is basically worthless if you've already cleared everything out.
If you don't have like multiple sacred sites or yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. You could use it on a different, but yeah, you have to have it. All right, I'll put it in sometimes. You sold me a little bit on it. I don't know. This card does not come together for me. But I guess I don't know. Looking at other stuff too, the fact that you get to push Dahan to just kind of put him somewhere else can be very helpful, especially because it's all Dahan. So if you have a nice bunched up area of Dahan, especially if you were trying to set them up to defend a lot and then have the Dahan take care of all the stuff that's in there, I guess I could see that. All right, but I'm sticking it in sometimes. You've sold me a little bit.
All right. Well, give it some more tries and see what you think, and maybe it'll move up your list at some point.
Fair enough.
Our next power is Melt Earth into Quicksand. Melt Earth into Quicksand is from Jagged Earth, costs 4, it's fast, range 1, and targets a sand or a wetland. 1 fear, 2 damage, isolate target land. After invaders or Dahan are moved into target land, destroy them. If you have 2 moon, 4 water, 2 earth, +4 damage out of Badlands, out of wilds. And it has 3 elements. It has moon, water, and earth. This is an interesting one.
For sure.
I don't know. Have you played with it much?
Honestly, I can't say that I have. I think if you hit that threshold, that's awesome. That is really awesome.
Well, yeah, we were talking about 5 damage for 6 energy with Talons of Lightning. With Threshold, this is 6 damage for 4 energy fast.
Plus adding a Badlands, adding a Wilds, getting a Fear, and then anything moved into there is destroyed like that. And Isolation. That is a lot. But hitting a threshold of 4, even though it does come with 1, is still one of each of those. Is still kind of hard. Like, there are definitely spirits that like this, water-based spirits especially.
I think this is a fun power on River Surges and Sunlight, especially just because you can like make a kill zone and then move everything into the kill zone, and you destroy a bunch of Talons and Explorers, and it's great. The one thing I want to mention with this is there is a combo with Bringer of Dreams and Nightmares again, with Melt Earth into Quicksand. That is confusing, that I don't really entirely understand. I've not been able to sit through the entire explanation, but basically the idea is you repeat Melt Earth into Quicksand over and over again on a land. And Bringer, shadow destroys the thing, and then it pushes to another land where you've melted Earth into Quicksand, and then it shadow destroys it, and then you can somehow chain the actions so that it doesn't violate the thing can't trigger itself rule. I'm sure some other players have explained this on YouTube or somewhere else, so check that out if you're interested. But it generates a patently ludicrous amount of fear.
Yeah. How do we feel in general about after invaders are moved to target land, destroy them effects?
I'm not a huge fan. It's sort of the this is a combo piece, but it's also a major power and it costs 4, and so it's all right, I guess. I would like to. I mean, with the threshold, it's more of it does a bunch of stuff on its own, but the combo piece just doesn't work some of the time because you don't always have push powers.
It's just a lot of conditions. 4 is a decent amount of energy to spend. The land has to be sands or wetlands, and you only have a range of 1, and it's just a lot. There's just a lot of conditions to it. I think I'm gonna put it in rarely.
Oh, this is still an always for me.
You think
Actually, I think this one just has enough stuff that I'm always happy to see it, and like it's not. I feel like I can bash each individual component of the card a little bit, but like as a whole package, I'm like this is really cool. This does enough things that it's almost always got some utility for me.
If I have those elements, I'd take this card. That's like full stop. If that's an easy threshold for me to
Sure.
to get with what spirit I'm playing, with what I've drafted already, I'm taking this card because that's just nuts. The amount of effects you get on it for that is nuts. But I just feel like it's too situational otherwise.
Okay.
Next up we have Strangling Firevine. Didn't we already talked about the choke fungus? Now we get to talk about the firevine.
Yeah, there's some really interesting flora on Spirit Island.
It's almost like it doesn't want humans to be there, or at least non-native humans. All right, so Strangling Firevine, 4 energy at slow. Destroy all explorers, add a wilds, add 1 wilds in the originating sands, because you have to target it from a sands within 1 range of you. 1 damage per wild in/adjacent to target land, and then if you have 2 fire and 3 plant, plus 1 damage per wild in/adjacent to target land. This comes with 1 fire and 1 plant already, and it is from Branch and Claw. I feel like I read a lot of confusing text. I'm sorry if you're not familiar with this card already. It makes sense, but it's just reading it out loud. It's like, here's a wilds, there's a wilds, everywhere's a wilds.
Yeah, this card is interesting. I think everything that says destroy all explorers is an interesting power to start with.
Yeah.
But then we talked a little bit when we were doing our Branch and Claw review about wilds tokens not like doing enough stuff or not like feeling like they had enough interactions with other things. This is, I think, the one power that really does something with wilds in an interesting way.
Yeah. That's not keeper.
That's not keeper. Well,
from the major minors.
And this is a really fun power on keeper too. If you've never drafted this on keeper, give it a try.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's one of those where like the base add a wilds in the originating sands and destroy all explorers. Then the 1 damage per wilds is going to destroy an explorer plus a town the first time you play it, which is pretty nice. And it adds 2 wilds, so like hopefully those 2 lands are now solved if they would come up again. And then the threshold potentially kicks that damage into high gear. And if you have anything else that adds wilds, you can deal a ton of damage with it. It can take out cities. It can take out multiple buildings. I don't know. This is a card that I feel like has a ludicrously high ceiling, but also doesn't have quite as high of a floor as some of the other things we've talked about.
Right. Keeping in mind that there aren't that many effects that add wilds in the game compared to some of the other tokens. It's obviously you can be playing keeper and get this card and then you're just jumping for joy. But with a lot of other spirits or builds that you have going, the only wilds you're adding are from this very specific card. And it is nice that it kind of does a thing and then sets itself up for potentially more of a thing next turn. There's several cards in the game that do that.
Yeah, some of the majors really like to be played multiple times, and this is definitely in that category.
Yeah. If you can get this consistently going, that's great. But I mean, it's 4 energy, and it only is 2 elements on its own. So if you're trying to hit thresholds on other things, it's not quite as helpful as some other cards.
That's true.
I don't know. I'm still trying to just like ponder this one.
I guess I'll say that I think it's in my sometimes happy to see category. I don't think it does quite enough. I mean, there are some matchups where I'm always happy to see it, but there are matchups where I'm also like totally uninterested in it. And so I think that has to average out to sometimes for me. But
okay.
I don't know. It's really interesting to like have that high ceiling, I think. And
yeah,
all of these like scaling with token damage cards are cool in my mind.
I think you've convinced me to put it into sometimes as well, because, I mean, you take this card, and then maybe you do find another power that does add wilds, and then this thing scales even higher, and maybe you do have the elements that get you there to the threshold, which is pretty nice. So, yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, special shout out to hazards spread across the island being great with this card. Our next power is Voice of Command. Voice of Command is from Jagged Earth. Costs 3, it's fast, targets 1 away from a sacred site in a land with Dahan. 1 damage per Dahan and Explorer to buildings only. Defend 2. During Ravage actions, Explorers fight alongside Dahan. They deal and take damage at the same time, and to and from the same sources. It has a sun and an air, which is relevant, because if you have 3 sun and 2 air, you first gather up to 2 Explorers, Towns, or Dahan. This is a really cool power, I think.
Yes.
I like this one a lot. The turning Explorers into like allies temporarily is really nice for just not having as much defend. Like the towns and cities get to damage the Explorers first, so the Dahan survive longer, and the Explorers get to, if they survive, fight back and deal damage to the towns and cities. I don't know. This feels really flexible to me. Sometimes you use it to just clear a land mostly, or clear a land of buildings at least, and that's huge in some ways, just on its own. And then the Ravage effect is just really nice on top of that.
Yes. Yeah, certainly. I like this card. I think, for one, I think it's an interesting effect in the game. Like, I think it's very flavorful, that it's a charismatic Dahan that's convinced these invaders that, you know, their larger group is a problem. So I like that in flavor.
I'm pretty sure that's Thunder Speaker in the art. Because they're holding the lightning spear.
I imagine Thunder Speaker being a lot larger than that, but okay, all right, sure, never mind. All right,
I mean, spirits can be whatever size they want. So, like,
a charismatic spirit, then, by the name of Thunder Speaker, convincing these explorers that you know what, buildings are not the way. They should be living in Dahan huts. So, yeah, no, I like it from a flavor perspective, and then yeah, I agree. I like the flexibility. If it's not clear by now, I'm definitely bigger on cards that are more flexible to whatever the state of the game is currently, rather than like being really good in certain situations. And I do think that, like, yeah, I mean, what the floor of this card is like defend 2, maybe.
I mean, it has to have Dahan in it, so you're always going to deal at least 1 damage.
That's true.
And okay. so 1 damage, defend 2. You know, if you have a land with 1 Dahan and a city in it, then this card solves that land, which is cool. Like, that's a nice floor.
But most of the time, you're going to be doing more damage than that. You're going to be clearing out things very specifically. Obviously, if you've let the Dahan wither, this is not going to be great for you. But that's, yeah, I put this in always.
Yeah, this is an always happy to see for me as well. I think it's really cool. It has a really achievable threshold. And yeah, it's just a really cool card.
For sure. And 3 energy is like a nice... That's kind of where I want to be on cards like this, I think. Okay, one last card for today. Bargains of Power and Protection. This is a 2-cost fast power that says, remove 1 of your presence on the island from the game, setting it on the reminder card. From now on, each Dahan within 1 range of your presence, provides defend 1 in its land, and you gain 1 less energy each turn. This effect stacks if used multiple times. If you have 3 sun, 2 water, and 2 earth, the presence instead comes from your presence track. It is a range of 0 and can only target lands with Dahan. It's from Jagged Earth, and it gives you sun, water, earth, and animal.
What do you think of this card, Alex?
Are you saying this to me because I'm a fan of like big defend everywhere type cards?
Yeah, this is gonna give all you defend all over the island.
I don't like this card.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I love all my defend everywhere cards equally, but I don't care for bargains of protection and power.
Interesting. I think this is potentially like a ridiculously powerful card. Mostly because if you can play it a couple of times, suddenly you don't need to defend lands anymore. You just need to push Dahan into them.
Yeah, sure.
And like you can do so much with this that it can change your game plan in such a way that you can have this really powerful alternative win condition, which is the Dahan just defend everything and destroy everything. And that's really cool to me. It also has the potential when it's thresholded to basically be a proliferation. Mm-hmm. Now, you gain 1 less energy each turn whenever you play it, But you also then get to like put a presence from your tracks down, which might give you an extra energy each turn, and so it feels much more free in that sense.
I have a question. Can you owe energy on this?
Yes, sort of. So if you like play Bargains of Power and Protection like 6 times in one turn somehow, from repeats or whatever, you only are gaining like 3 energy a turn, what it's going to do is say, okay, you gain no energy, and the next time you would gain energy, don't gain that energy until you've paid back the amount.
Oh dear.
So it doesn't make you like have to pay energy ever, but it definitely can go and like pull your energy balance. It can basically make sure that you never get energy again if you use it too many times.
It puts you in debt.
Yeah.
It puts you in crippling debt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, if you have the threshold, I don't hate this, but I think it's probably just speaks to the way that I draft major powers, which is generally later on in the game, and when I just don't want this card. It's just defend 1, okay, cool, then maybe next time I play it again and they're defending 2. Like,
well, but if you have 3 Dahan, it's defend 3.
If I have 3, yeah, but that's where the Dahan are. Or within 1 of the Dahan. Sometimes I feel like this is one of those where it's just too much words. It's too many words. I would rather a more powerful card.
Okay. I think this one's really good. It's probably in the always happy to see for me category, just because I'm always happy to see it as like an option of, oh, I can play that kind of game this time.
But it removes so much of your energy. Like, this card is it's a scenario in a card.
Yes, that is fair. It is a scenario in a card. And I could see reasons to just avoid this card because, as you said, like it's way too much text in some ways. But like, I don't know. I think it's interesting.
All right, the Spirited Discussion fan base is slowly starting to realize I'm like a Neanderthal. This has actually been a social experiment. See how long I can get on this podcast without ever having actually played Spirit Island.
There you go.
No, but yeah, This is one of those cards that I definitely could come around on with more plays of it. But honestly, I don't like what it does for the long term of the game, and especially when I do draft this oftentimes later in the game, I do see this later in the game. I'm just not super thrilled for it. But I will always be a fan of anything that gets presence off of the presence tracks. So if I have that threshold easily hit, then yeah, maybe I'll try this card out. So it's rarely for me.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I think we're going to end there now. That was our last major for today. We got through another 11 minors and how many is this? 8 majors? So we're making progress through the decks. We'd love to hear from you. Tell us what you think of these powers. Explain why Alex is wrong about Bargains of Power and Protection. We only got through 7.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. And if you have any feedback, please let us know. Thanks. Bye.
Take care.